I'm so glad you're all here today. And so this is something that's been just, it's very heavy on our hearts as far as just businesses in general, understanding how to have a common language and walk that out with one another. And so for your company, it might be mission, vision, core values. It could be core principles, just a core purpose, whatever it is. It's important whether you're leading a department, if you're leading an entire company, or just a division, or even just yourself, right? It's important for you to understand, what is it that's important to me? Where do I want to go? And how am I going to get there? All right. Becca. Oh, there we go. I never know where to click. That's the problem. Okay. So real quick, we talk about this all the time, our hard skills versus soft skills. So hard skills, these are our technical skills. This is things like accounting, things you know how to do that you're taught in school and all that stuff. And then we've got these soft skills, right? And so the soft skills are the things that they don't teach you in school. You usually learn them by example, or if you study it, then you would learn it. However, between soft skills and financial management, I think we're doing all of our kids a disservice because this is not taught well. And so I would certainly say, if there's anything in this soft skill category that you're like, oh, maybe I need to work on that a little bit. There's so many books and resources and podcasts and stuff out there. But the learning of these is certainly a little bit different than any of those hard skills. So today, mission, vision, core values, we kind of hit on all of these things because we only can make decisions if we know the lens in which we need to make decisions through. We can only collaborate as a team if we have a common language and a common direction. We can handle conflict when we know exactly how conflict should be handled in our workplace. Okay. And so everything we're going to do today is kind of hits on all of the ones that we've identified here. There's many, many more, but those are our top 8 or 9. Okay. So this is a poll question. So go ahead. I didn't set up the poll, but I do have a chat. So put it in the chat. Your guess, what % of employees don't have a clear understanding of their company vision? Yay. All right. Very good. The answer is B, 63%. I was actually surprised. I thought it was kind of low, to be honest with you. So I then did more research because I didn't believe it. And so what that led me to was this quote, and I'm just going to read it to you because it really just, it pressed upon me a little bit. It says, when you have a leader, engage with your colleagues, peers, and employees on a really deep and emotional level when communicating with your company vision on a level that has made you, this part here, on a level that has made you really emotionally exhausted, so exhausted that your audience has been jointly standing up, every single one of them, praising you for having made a deep emotional impact on them about their future in the company, an impact that made them understand the company vision with their whole heart, body, and soul. And so I've met very few people that have been able to cast a vision in such a precise way that it moved me emotionally, right? That emotional, I want to be part of that, or gosh, I'd love to learn more about that, or they're doing something that's amazing and, it's so focused. So I just thought that was really interesting as far as the emotional impact the clarity of vision would have on somebody. Okay. So mission and vision, core values defined. Mission, this is your purpose, right? So this is why does your company exist? Often confused with your vision, which is an impact. So this is like, what would our business or our world look like if the mission was fulfilled? And so very often what we find is companies confuse these two things and they actually end up with two mission statements. So vision is something that is tied to usually things that are numeric, geographical, things like that, that you are reaching a certain amount. We have one vision for one of the companies on here is $1 million in give back as a combined effort amongst their team. I should have put a poll. Guess which team that is? That's the Love Sacrificially team, just so you know. But that's a collective vision. And so some of the things that they do to work toward that is everybody, either privately or however they like to do it, they actually track their give back in hours and in dollars. And so they know that they're working together toward this bigger vision, this bigger goal. But it's you can quantify it in some way when you have a vision. The mission, though, that's the driver. That's the our whole purpose, right? Our whole purpose at Accompany Suite is healthy families. That is all we're focused on. At the end of the day, we want to keep families whole. And the way that we do that is we get in the workplace to help mitigate some of those unnecessary stresses that happen there, so that people can be fulfilled and their life becomes like a continuum of light and goodness, instead of them going to work and being so depleted that they go home and they have hardly anything to give back to their family. And then we have our core values. This is the way you do it. So it's typically 3 to 7 words. I certainly wouldn't do more than 7 because I don't know that anybody could ever remember that many. But 3 to 7 words that express our behavior, how we interact, the strategies that we're going to use to accomplish our mission and vision. And so what's really neat about your values is it makes it so much easier to hire, to intervene, to have corrective action. If you have a way in which we approach our work, our behaviors, our decisions, if we know what they are, then it's so much easier to hold somebody accountable. If cleanliness was a core value in my house, which it is, however, we have a few kids that just don't abide. And so when we talk about what we expect, or it's not appropriate to park in front of the mailbox, that happened yesterday. These are things that, that was more about being considerate, right? That's something in our household, is consideration for other people. So one of them did not do well, but at least I could say, hey, in this house, we are considerate toward one another. And when you park in front of the mailbox, it's inconsiderate to the mailman and to the rest of your family who didn't get their mail yesterday, right? So it's just a way that I could say, instead of saying, hey, kid, you got to move your car, I was able to just draw it back to the core value. And I'm like, is he home? I'm not sure if he's home and he can hear me. Okay. Anyway, so moving on. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, please just either interrupt me. You guys can turn on or off your mics, doesn't matter to me, but we have a group today where we should be interactive. So if you're stuck on anything or want to talk, please do. Okay. So mission, vision, values. Okay. These things flow. Okay. So everything you're doing, community outreach, financial management, marketing, whatever you're doing should always be flowing in and out of this lens of mission, vision, and core values. It's fluid. Okay. So no matter what is happening, your goals you're setting, they have to line up with these. And if they don't, then you're already in violation of your mission, vision, and core values. And so you need to rethink it. And so this is why when we create them, we want to make sure that we create them in a way that everyone in the organization can repeat them. Okay, so these have to be things that come to mind really quickly and easily. So even if it is, like I mentioned, our primary objective for 2024, it's just 2 words, right? So surrendering agility. So if that's the only thing that they learn for the whole year, and everybody can say it and everyone knows what it means, we're already on our way. One thing I would recommend, if you're looking at your mission, vision, and core values and you're like, these stink, these are so bad and we need to rewrite them, I would say pause here, because like Danielle was talking a little bit earlier about that continuous improvement loop. And so anytime you're getting ready to make a change in a workplace, before you like wipe the slate clean and just create something new, you really want to give pause there, because that actually slows production down. And so you're better off taking that system or that process and just making small improvements to it to get everybody moving. And the same thing applies here. 1 word, one action, one thing for everybody to focus on. And eventually over the year or so, right, all these things will flush themselves out. We can do it in a few day session, right? If we wanted to. It usually takes for us 8 to 12 hours to work this through with someone. However, it's something that evolves over time. It's not like a one and done kind of thing. Alrighty. So just some highlights here to remember when you walk away. Mission, vision, and core values, they're not just for businesses, right? This should be a household situation. I can tell you when Chris and I talked about it the other day, we were like, man, I wish we thought about this when the kids were little, right? But within the next few years, they'll probably be grandkids, so we'll get it on round 2. But just having that inside your home, in your businesses, any sports teams that you're on, anything like that, just making sure that there's common goals that everyone works on together and they come up with. If it's a small enough team, like say we were one team and there's 8 of us, there's no reason why with that small a team you couldn't work it through together. But it does need to reflect the owner's heart, so that we're able to reflect what they're trying to accomplish through their business. And if you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. I should have quoted it. This is Coach Janet. She's our coach that we work with. So if you are a coach, we always recommend that you have a coach, right? If you're in any helping profession, you should have another helping professional that is guiding and leading you and holding you accountable. But she's really strong on this, on vision, and making sure that even if you don't know the big plan, that you know how to take a step forward with intentionality. And then finally, this one's big. We're actually going to talk about boundaries in November. So if boundaries are an issue for you, please sign up for the November Whiteboard Wednesday. So the absence of boundaries means the presence of chaos. Okay, so if in your home you don't have clear core values or clear, we're just referring to that because that's what topic we're talking about. But if you don't know where the boundaries lie, you'll never know when to say yes and when to say no. You'll never know if corrective action is needed for someone or isn't. Okay. And so otherwise, you're going to just have a bunch of people running in a bunch of different directions, and there's going to be a lot of disrespect and lack of understanding that's completely unintentional, but it is chaotic and unnecessary. It is avoidable. Okay, so this is the last question we have. So this is kind of open. So what one thing will you commit to improve your mission, vision, or core values in your organization or home? It doesn't matter. You can talk about whatever. It's just something to reflect on. I think all of us can gain something here. So yeah, I had no idea the family aspect of it would have hit the way that it did, but one small step in the right direction is still a step forward. So awesome, awesome, awesome.